The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com.
Is back. Becky Lynch squashes Bianca Belair, and Karrion Kross looks like Quang. Welcome everybody to the latest episode of the Chop Shop, brought to you by Buckle Bomb Entertainment, and now brought to you by our brand new friends at the Johnner Network. Yeah, boy. Yes. Introducing first, hailing from Luda United Kingdom, the one Washmeister, Luke. Wash, bada bing, bada boom. Full house for you again. Here we go. She is the mean queen of Syracuse, New York. It's Sarah Visick. To my below me. Unfortunately, still your Buckle Bomb Entertainment champion of the world, DM Grizzle.
It's lovely to see you.
That was the most GCW Matt Cardona entry I could give you. And finally, Orlando Vega. How are you guys doing? We're finally back after a little hiatus, and we're back with a bang because, my goodness, what a time it's been in WWE. First and foremost, SummerSlam, baby. That was an interesting weekend.
I mean, okay, there were some good moments, and then there's some questionable moments that I feel like it's moving somewhere. So we just got to see where it's going.
Yeah.
I'd like to start out with a riddle for you all.
Oh, here we go.
So what were they saying in Vegas as well as Syracuse this weekend? Long live the queen. Again. Everything is right with the world.
Hang on. There she goes.
Somebody did it to her finally. She's not connected. Uh-oh.
This is a historic moment. This usually doesn't happen to Sarah.
So somebody had to be the Corey Graves of our group, and now we finally crowned Sarah that. I mean, it's all coming and going over the last 7 days of wrestling action. Let's start with SummerSlam, and Becky Lynch is back, and now she's SmackDown Women's Champion. I mean, it's been an interesting sort of chronology of events. We first found out that Sasha Banks was not able to be cleared and not able to make it for the title. Then Carmella gets put in as a swerve. Then Becky Lynch comes in and goes, you know what, let's have it. She hits the rock bottom, and that's your lot. Genuinely the biggest disappointment of the weekend?
It's a questionable thing because like after a few days and now hearing reports, I'm interested in where now finally it's going, because what the reports are saying now is that Becky wanted to be a heel. They're making her into a heel. So, I mean, hopefully, if fans are going to be smart about this, they'll boo her to help out Bianca. But it's WWE. And plus, some of the fans, they do miss Becky, so they'll probably cheer for her. And she is the over type of woman ever in the company since, I would say, Lita? Because Lita was very over back in the 2000s, I
think what we have here, and I think it's very much a unique vortex, is that we have very much a female Rock Hogan moment where everyone wants to cheer both Bianca and Becky, but of course the narrative will push for a natural heel and a natural face. But Sarah, I think you'll agree with me. This is that yes, the man is back. Yes, it's been teased for ages, apparently this is a rushed comeback, obviously because of what was going on with Sasha Banks. But how do you think fans will take to her in coming weeks now that she's got the title around her waist?
Like many people, I hated it at first. I hated Becky coming back and just squashing all the progress that Bianca's made as the top face. But it's smart now that I think about it. Because do you remember the last time they tried to turn Becky heel? The crowd cheered her. It was when she turned on Charlotte in that triple threat. Everybody cheered her.
3 years. 3 years on your queen, on Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam, which of course then led to the man being born.
Yeah, she couldn't turn heel. The crowd just wasn't having it. So how do you get her to do it this time? That squash match, which everybody's going to hate, is going to generate a lot more heat than the last time she tried to turn heel. That may be.
I think, Daniel, this opens a lot of doors in the sense that now that she is in place and now she's an extra pawn in the puzzle, is that obviously now we're going to see Bianca versus Becky in the run, certainly going into November. But then after that, the window is then open, obviously, for Sasha to then come back and have a crack and claim the match that she never got. And then obviously by then we'll be looking towards Dallas next April, where Bayley comes back, and then all of a sudden the horsewomen could then be discussed. And there is so many doors and cogs within this puzzle that actually this could work out to be a masterstroke by WWE.
Sure. I mean, we always want to go straight for the storyline, but let's just let's take it for what it is. First of all, Becky Lynch is back. That's great. Let's enjoy that. I think that WWE is always guilty of saying, they always kind of seem kind of tone deaf, but so they'll hear like, we want a chicken sandwich. So like, okay, here's your chicken sandwich. Like, yeah, but we wanted no pickles and we wanted, mustard and we wanted all this other stuff that goes along with it. So we got our chicken sandwich, which is Becky. We didn't quite get it the way we wanted, and it came at the expense of Bianca, which is unfortunate. But it does leave a lot of options for the future. Even if, dare I say, Ronda Rousey wanted to come back maybe one day. I don't know if she will, but you could also throw her into that name, into that pile of names that could show up around WrestleMania next year. So I don't know that they know what they're doing. It does seem like they called an audible, and I will give them credit for making an effort, because if we had the man come back basically as she left, I think her character would be just as stale as it was when she left the first time, unfortunately. So at least they're trying something new with her.
And Orlando, you and I have discussed on continuous weeks on the Chart Shot where we talked about the women's divisions and how lackluster they're being used. And, I think there is still argument, as we'll discuss a little bit later with the Raw side and certainly NXT as well, is that, even though Becky is now back after weeks of speculation whether she will and she won't be there, and obviously then with Sasha being ruled out, now she's in that position, is that does this resolve things? Does this make things a little easier, or are we still in the same boat that we were before the Vegas weekend?
I don't know, because we don't know what they're thinking. And honestly,
it's not easier.
Yeah, exactly. And also, they kind of screwed USA because of this past weekend. Fox got like a big win. They got a major, like 2 wins. And so now they have Becky and Brock, and it's just like now USA Network is probably going to be like having a lot of meetings with Vince and Raw about Raw and their women's division. So I don't know. Like, I don't know where.
Okay, but you also have to ask yourself, how often are we going to have to keep Charlotte and Becky on separate brands? Because that's going to be, kind of.
Is that the match for November? Is that just that you're Survivor?
No, I don't think that's going to be the match for November. I don't think so.
I think it is.
You think it is?
I think it is. I think that they're thinking they're trying to think real simple. They think let's go back to basics. They're going to see what happened this past week when, getting 2 million views on Raw. And they're going to say, okay, let's at least try. We were getting 2 million views when we were doing those matches. So let's go back to that. That's WWE thinking.
Yeah. And like how I said before, like, I think it's just like they like playing safe, and it's unfortunate that they're playing safe, but in this type of situation with Becky being a heel, I think they're not playing safe, because I think because they see something in Bianca that a lot of us do see. Like, I think she's going to be a mega star. That's why they put her in that event in Miami, you know, Rolling Loud. They have her with a lot of celebrities and stuff. They had her in the main event. You know, not a lot of people from NXT that come up to the main roster gets that. So, you know, so yeah, so I'm thinking they see something in Bianca. So, you know.
And they did what they wanted to, because I want to see SmackDown this Friday, and I haven't said those words out loud in a long time.
Yeah, and it's like it's bringing intrigue now. Like that's the thing. Like Brock is back, and now Becky is a heel, and she just screwed over one of their top baby faces that they had for the past year on SmackDown. So now there's intrigue in SmackDown.
Absolutely, and you know we'll come back to SmackDown a little bit later on, considering what they're up against. that is a very
meanwhile
point.
Meanwhile,
of course, to the other big point from SummerSlam, the Octopus is back, and you know what?
Octopus.
You know it was a long time coming. We all could all see it coming, and Paul Heyman is going to crap himself. And,
oh my God, I just love that. Like how he's like crying in the corner, like, no, no. it's like an ex thing. Like it's like your ex-girlfriend. And then he's coming back to see your current boo. And she's like, no.
Can anyone remember the last time that Brock Lesnar came out to a face ovation? I mean,
and you were happy about it?
We're talking.
No, there was a moment. I think it was a moment. What was it? I think 2017, 2016. That was the last time. I mean, he was feuding with the Wyatt family, so that was like I mean.
Oh come on, he was still the beast. He still had Brock Lesnar by his side. It was messy, but you know what we have with him now, and certainly coming out straight after the magnificent main event between Roman and John Cena, is a storyline now that not only is Paul Heyman going to be torn between his two greatest creations, and he said that certainly on the Out of Character podcast this week, but Brock Lesnar has not got a mouthpiece anymore. This is going to be a new form of Brock Lesnar that we have not seen. And
I'm hoping for a stable return. I'm hoping for a stable return. She could be a mouthpiece. She can speak.
No,
come on,
bro. Yeah.
That's all Orlando has today, everybody.
I mean, Sable. I mean, like you want to talk about people who WWE cannot fathom. Sable. I mean,
you're gonna troll your own podcast, group.
Sarah, do you want to phone James? Is he available for next week? Can we sub?
Man,
we'll go under review with HR, just so you know.
Hey, this is a perfect opportunity to bring Dexter Lumis to the main roster, and he and Brock can just walk around not talking and kicking everyone's ass. I'd be fine with that.
Let him have picture. Let him play silent Pictionary. Just let Dexter.
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
Yeah.
The greatest thing about Brock's return, all the memes we're getting on the wrestling internet community.
Oh yeah, that's true.
No, it's his man bun. It's his man bun.
Yeah.
There's the one, with Dean Ambrose when he had the black, tank top and jeans. Dean Ambrose has evolved.
Mm-hmm. But I have to say, I'm actually intrigued to see them two fight. After their this is their eighth encounter. This is the encounter that I'm more intrigued because of how much Roman Reigns has evolved as a character. Really,
I think you're absolutely right. I think you've saved yourself, Orlando. I think in the previous 7 encounters, Roman Reigns has been the babyface hero, and you think about all the times they faced each other. WrestleMania 34, nobody wanted it. WrestleMania 31. Nobody wanted it, and Seth Rollins had to come to the save. I think it was SummerSlam 2018, of course, when he finally defeated him, and even then Braun Strowman was playing catch the briefcase and flinging it around like it was nothing. But now here we have Roman Reigns built up to the mega star that we've all waited for, and the head of the table, and obviously where he's been with certainly the tribal chief persona with Brock Lesnar, who is in the form of his life, is in incredible shape, and now that he doesn't have Paul Heyman with him can really do some damage. It's just that it opens so many doors.
Do we have any information on what kind of deal he's on?
Not at the moment. I mean,
So
I know that
I actually read a report. He was supposed to face Roman at WrestleMania 39.
Yes, exactly what I was about to say. He was booked in for that match in Los Angeles in a year and a half's time. So the fact that they've decided to play it big and bring him in now, I mean, how much of that is down to CM Punk being on the other brand? But
yeah, that's fair right there.
You know, it's
it's very much fair.
And you know, Pat McAfee absolutely lost his mind, and that's what we wanted to hear.
I mean, like, that was honestly because I was not expecting Brock. I was just like, holy shit, Brock is here?
And that's why, in my opinion, of all the returns we had this weekend between multiple promotions, Brock was the biggest surprise of all of them because nobody else expected him to come back.
Bullshit. Leave. Bye.
No. Actually, no. She makes a good point though, because like nobody expected Brock to come back because there was reports saying that he was not going to come back. Mm-hmm. He did not sign a new deal.
Nobody was crying. I
didn't say the best return. I just said the biggest surprise. Everybody knew CM Punk was coming back. Everybody.
Of course. Come on now. Everybody knew that CM Punk was coming back. Come on.
It was designed that way.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But nobody knew Brock was coming. As far as everybody knew, Brock was going to some sort of MMA promotion.
Yeah. I'm just hoping after he faces Roman for the 19th time that we can finally get Brock versus Bobby Lashley. For God's sakes, please give us that damn match because he deserves it for being the best champion on Raw and the best thing on Raw right now. He deserves to have that match with Brock. I'm sorry.
Orlando. We do deserve Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, but I think we all agree we want Brock Lesnar versus Big E. We want the beef versus the beef, and I think Big E could beat him.
Meat on meat.
I think they went head to head last January at the Royal Rumble, but I think that is just. Can you imagine the animation of Big E around Brock? Just the size of him, you know?
Yeah,
they could do
maybe.
it.
Is this also a case of perhaps the WWE trying to piss off their dad in terms of USA Network and sending all of these huge storylines and all of these people over to Fox? Because they haven't been getting along recently, and that's a very WWE thing to do. It might almost as if to say, kick me off the network, see what happens. I'll go back to TNN if I have to. Like, you know, like what are they saying?
I mean, except with that Peacock deal, I don't know. So
maybe Fox wants everything.
This is the thing. I mean, I will come on to the SmackDown figures in just a bit. I mean, let's just go over the rest of the night. Of course, neither me nor Sarah got to watch it live. Sarah, you were at a wedding. I was at a party, and it was, that was interesting. But other than that, well, I guess when we both caught up with it, it was an underwhelming night altogether. I mean, I thankfully on our WWE network we can skip through things, but other than that, nothing else jumped out at us. It was very much a meh night.
Well, Edge versus Seth was a good match. I have to say, I was very impressed with that match. I loved that match so much.
Edge versus Seth was match of the night, and for argument's sake, could have gone on last. But other than that, Damian Priest becoming the new US champion, Riddle and RK Bro finally getting the Raw tag titles. The segment with Miz and Morrison and Xavier Woods with a water gun,
And Eva wrestled.
Gabe Stevenson getting to show off his Tokyo Olympic gold medal. Like there wasn't,
I thought
I know.
Then Sheamus was pretty decent. I put that as number 2 match of the night.
Which one?
Sheamus and Damian Priest.
Yeah, like it picked up the crowd because they were feeling it like as they were building, like as they were going through the match. They were like the crowd was picking up from that, I would say no. What was disappointing was because after the Becky surprise and the Becky win, everybody couldn't enjoy the show until, they couldn't really enjoy the show because like they felt deflated from what happened with Becky versus Bianca. So, and it should have like honestly, this could have been the pay-per-view of the year because all of these matches could have killed it. You know, I don't know if it was structured. I don't know if it was timed. I don't know who produced some of these stuff. I don't know. And also, like with the whole Sasha thing, we don't even know if it was COVID related, if it's an actual injury, you know. So everybody was like worried about that too. So,
I mean, there's a lot of questions to be answered about that. I mean, it was one of the highest drawing events of the year. Certainly that they built the cards to be able to draw it, and they certainly got the results. I mean, and yes, Charlotte Flair became the Raw Women's Champion for the 75,000th time. I mean, poor Nikki Ash. Poor Nikki Ash. I mean, it was a good triple threat. Don't get me wrong, Rhea Ripley and Super Nikki gave it their all, but when you're locked in a figure eight, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. I don't like that's unfortunate because like she had only the belt for a month, you know, so I don't know what direction they're going with the Raw women's because they definitely do need help there. I don't know who they're waiting for. I mean, Ronda's still pregnant. She's having her baby in September. I don't think she'll be back until next year. I don't know, honestly.
I mean, yeah, I think of all the people that could have taken it, I think maybe Nikki Ash was the one. But hey, at least Charlotte Flair didn't go and win the AAA women's title.
Damn,
I'm sure they asked
shade.
her to. She had to turn it down.
Yeah, probably. I mean, she was there though. She could have taken it. I mean,
That's fine.
Interesting. I mean, let's move away from of course SummerSlam to 24 hours prior, and you know, aside from what was happening on TNT, what a night for SmackDown. 2 million people tuning in for the considering one of the biggest returns of all time happened on another network. That's still impressive.
I mean, SmackDown. Yeah, I mean, it was the go home show. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I do wonder if there's a small percentage of people that were tuning into SmackDown saying this is the day that CM Punk super trolls everyone and actually goes back to WWE. I believe that percentage is very small, but I believe that some of those people do exist.
Yeah, I was one of them. I wanted that to happen. I just wanted to laugh. Be like, look at y'all waiting for him to be in Dynamite or Rampage. Look, he's on WWE again. But you know.
Well, I think certainly the analytics of it all is that even though SmackDown had, I think, over 2 million people, it's the quality of your demographic, and of course AEW hands down wins the quality over quantity argument, you know, any day of the week. But you know, SmackDown doing over 2 million fans. Say that 3 or 4 months ago, and we didn't think that was possible.
I mean, especially on a Friday and network television, like you know, I mean, it's good for them. You know, I mean, the night of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox was 3 million viewers because they had The Rock on it. So, I mean, that's going to be their average, like 2 to 2.2 million, I think.
It's good to see. It's just strong to see, and I think certainly going forward, normality is resumed, and you know we would have to worry about Rampage outdrawing SmackDown, which I don't think will ever happen, even though they've got the better quality of fans. But let's move on. Let's move away from analytics for sure. Karrion Kross looks like Kwang.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. Who you piss off? That's the thing.
He didn't lose.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe he agreed to it. I mean, like, I don't know.
You didn't have a choice.
No, you do have a choice.
No, you
Come
don't.
on now.
No, you know, you don't have a choice. This is it. You're gonna wear this, and you're gonna go out there, and Karrion Kross said okay and play ball. And apparently it's because they're going to make action figures with him looking like that, which is like, okay. But it's
dumb. It's so dumb. It doesn't look right on him, though.
Wouldn't
It
you
looks
so
like-
much rather have a 2-figure package with him and Scarlet with like a bunch of like plastic fake smoke or something like that? No, we get. I don't even know what to call it. It's like half Sultan, half Quang, half everything else.
It's
The
a
first thing
Party
I
City
thought of
version
was-
of Demolition. That's what it is. It's a party.
Oh, that's disrespectful to Demolition, though. Surely.
It's disrespectful that he even tried to put that type of outfit. Come on now. I'm sorry. Sarah, you're very silent in the corner, please.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot to say about it, really.
As our friend Daniel likes to say, $20 is $20.
$20 is $20.
That's really true. And that's sad to say, but
I mean, it all comes under the banner that the NXT era has moved on after Takeover, and we'll come on to Takeover a little bit later. But as we move into what NXT will become in the future, Karrion Kross being buried like that is the sign that no matter how hard you can be on one brand, when you come up to the main roster, you can be completely different. It's just terrible.
While holding a belt.
Yeah.
While holding a fucking belt. You could have at least waited
and losing to Jeff Hardy
3 or 4 weeks, It doesn't
or
matter.
like at least waited for this night to actually change him. I don't know. Where's Scarlet? That's the thing. I'm now wanting to put a PP. What's that thing called? Like a missing persons report for her because she's needed badly for him because he's very much needed for his entrance as well as for his matches.
Well, I heard there's some family issues going on outside of work, so that could be why she's missing. I don't know that to be fact though.
If you are going to tell me that you have a Raw Women's title main event picture that does involve Alexa Bliss, Scarlett, and Charlotte, I'm interested, especially with, also with almost a superhero, Nikki Ash. It's like, those are all very talented people. I'd love for Scarlett to be added to that and see what she can do if she has to be separated. I don't think she does. I think she'll come back and join her man at his side, I hope.
I mean, that segue beautifully into what's next for the new Raw Women's Champion, the Queen Charlotte Flair, is now Alexa Bliss and Lily. And we were saying that in previous weeks what they could possibly do with Lily and Alexa Bliss, especially after Doudrop is now been and done. And Doudrop got a face turn. Hooray! She finally turned her back on whatever Eva Marie wants to be. But yeah, Charlotte Flair against Alexa Bliss. Sarah, what do you think?
They've put on some good matches in the past. I'm hoping, they give it another go with those two, give them a feud, see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But Lily is going to have to get involved, though.
Who?
Lily.
I mean, come on now. You already know what's going to happen. Lily's going to be the new Raw Women's Champion. So that way Charlotte win it after her again. And then, Alexa will probably win it off of Charlotte. And then Charlotte will win it out again. So that way she'll get to almost 16 title reigns. Come on now, folks.
I think they're going a completely different route with this. I think this sets up Alexa versus Nikki WrestleMania next year, eventually, when it's all said and done. The story's right there. You've been doing it for years. They've both gone very separate directions. You've got all the past montage footage that you could possibly want because they were standing next to each other for 2 years. I mean, it's huge and it's right there, and it's a great way to end the Alexa Bliss character and to put Nikki over even more, which was the goal of all this in the first place.
I mean, I'd bring that forward to January and have that at the Rumble. I think that's far too long-term booking to aim for that.
Yeah.
But,
and I don't know if 100,000 people would want to see something like that. I'm sorry to say. I mean,
Just kidding. It's happening next week.
On Monday Night Raw.
I mean, look, we were saying if Nikki Cross was going to retain, the next feud should be Alexa Bliss, but they're not doing that. So I don't look. Okay, Alexa Bliss works well with other people that know how to wrestle. So I'm going to enjoy this match that they're going to have because they did have a good match in 2017. So I'm anxious just to see how they're going to be like now that Alexa's character is very different. than Charlotte's is, because Charlotte's very dominant. So
I wanted Charlotte to be evil, like true evil, not just like a bitch, like forever. Like, you know, what if Charlotte Flair dyed her hair brown and started walking around like the Undertaker? It would be crazy.
Daniel, it's simple. All she needs to do is win the AAA Women's title and then walk on to Raw with it. That's what she needs to do. then
because
she'll be the female title collector.
No, because
salty about the new women's champion.
And then she'll lose in a roll-up finish in 20 seconds just to bury another promotion.
Oh,
and
Lord.
Then here we go again.
Oh my God!
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
We're going to wish that into existence now, aren't we? Yeah. I mean, it remains to be seen. Obviously, we sort of said earlier on about how they're going to get to November with that potential showdown with Becky Lynch. But of course, in between then as well, we've got the draft as well. And obviously, the door is to who they bring over. And this could still open the door for Sasha to move over to Raw. You know, this could still end up seeing, you know, even some of the new people like Tony Storm and, you know, those who were brought in just before SummerSlam to move over and challenge her. So there's still a pool of talent she could take on.
Sure.
Yeah. Like Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan should she got a great reaction in Money in the Bank, and now they just hit her. Like, where the fuck is she?
That's what they always do. Let's also not forget that Shayna Baszler should still be murdering everyone.
Which I have a feeling. No, actually, I have a feeling that's going to happen because of what the story that they're going with. Because it seemed like Shayna's about to get a babyface run. Because
and what the hell is Asuka?
Supposedly, they said that the reports say that they didn't have anything creatively for her, but Asuka said that's not true. So it's something else. So I don't know.
Yeah, where the hell is Asuka?
Yeah, I don't want to see Charlotte versus Asuka again. I mean, I'd rather Asuka do something else. I don't know, like maybe face Piper Niven. I just want to see those two face each other. Like maybe I don't know.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. I mean, like you said, where's Asuka? Where's she been for the last three years?
There's like so many women that are missing, like Naomi, Liv Morgan, Asuka. Like those three women could easily be added to Raw to help them. You know.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. Let's move on. Let's talk about Takeover, shall we? And let's talk about Ilia versus Volta.
Oh. Yes! Love that match! Oh my God! It's so good!
Water is dead.
And when he won, it was just like, I was utterly screaming. I was like, he won! He won! Yes!
And those welts and bruises on his chest.
Submit.
I know, right? Oh, he went to war. Ilia went to war, and he won that belt. So beautiful. It was just so beautiful.
I mean, there's Shawn Michaels' level of selling, and then there's the European flair that you can add to it, I guess. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow.
What I miss from their first match is when they were talking to each other and they were saying it in their own language. Like, you heard, like, their heated language to each other, you know? So I was just like, I kind of miss them talking to each other, like, you know, but the crowd was very hot for this match because, like, it was building up, and I was like, "Oh, I'm anxious. I'm ready. And then
no words necessary.
Exactly.
The
and then
chemistry is just so good.
Yeah, they just went full throttle, chops, uppercuts. Oh, so beautiful.
I watched it with my wife, and she was standing there watching me go, oh, he tapped out. Holy shit, he tapped out. Oh my God, he tapped out. Yeah, it was awesome.
I am scared what they're going to do with Volta next. I mean, Volta versus Samoa Joe?
Now,
yes,
there is a report. I just read a report that they're wanting to have Volta on NXT Prime. And you know what? If you need to, I think that would be the best investment that you can have to put him on NXT Prime. And that's something that Vince would love because he's like now the reports are saying he wants bigger dudes and stuff. Volta is a unique big dude that you could easily build around. And look what he did with NXT UK with a lot of guys that are smaller in his size.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And certainly, as we talk about the new era of NXT and what it will become, obviously, they've just taped the next few weeks of television, and now they have Samoa Joe as their champion. And Volta has always said that he didn't want to move to America whilst he still had the UK title around his waist. Path is there.
I mean, is he not already tainted by the way that they treated him during Survivor Series a couple years ago?
Well, no. That was the main roster. That's the main roster. We're talking about just NXT. Now,
I know,
NXT
but
is
now
a different beast.
Hold on. They are now saying that NXT is supposed to be more of a conduit straight to the main roster, like it used to be, instead of how it became previously as its own show. So, if that's the case, you are moving him there to get him onto the main roster. And if they are going to get him there to the main roster only to treat him poorly or treat him like they've treated Karrion Kross, and if they try to ruin Walter, hey, I'm all about seeing some Lance Archer versus Walter, some Brian Cage versus Walter. I'll fantasy book that all day with you. Like, I'm more than happy to do that. And they better not mess him up because he's so special and so unique, and hey, you can't buy that. They've tried.
He's just the last stand, isn't he? If they ruin Volta in the same way they've ruined everybody else, then I'm generally just gonna you'll see me on the Elite Talk Show every week from then onwards. I'm just gonna give up on WWE and NXT. But
Wardlow
against Walter. Oh. The beef. But certainly the main talking point coming out of TakeOver is certainly Mr. Adam Cole, the undisputed one. Now he is possibly a free agent, possibly under contract until at least Friday. What do we think is happening?
He's gone. I mean, if they haven't done an offer, he's going to AEW. Honestly, I mean, the only look, he could easily just say like he had the best run in WWE, which was in NXT. 4 years, he was able to be with his mentor in Triple H. He was able to be with his idol in Shawn Michaels. He's been the longest reigning NXT champion. He was the first North American champion. He could easily say, okay, I did my obligation. My contract is up. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Maybe I will come back down the line.
I smell a wrestling wedding.
What do you mean?
Hey, hey, Adam Cole shows up. He could show up next week. Blah blah blah. Longtime girlfriend. If you get them in the same company, they're going to be around each other all the time. They're going to get married. It's going down. Who wouldn't want to marry Britt Baker?
True.
Can we get the Sinister Minister for this one again?
Oh, yes, of course.
Any excuse to get James Mitchell back into wrestling.
Anything to put Orange Cassidy in a cake is fine.
He's actually a part of Impact, so I mean, he's still a part of wrestling. So I mean, it's just like so. But look, honestly, it's Adam Cole's decision. A lot of people have said, look, if he wants to go to, he could negotiate. Be like, let me come to SmackDown because they did their negotiation on SmackDown. So maybe he wants to go to SmackDown and face Roman. I don't know.
But he said he's not losing his Twitch channel, which WWE says no.
But then
negotiate that as well.
But then Selena Vega came back to WWE after having her Twitch, and then she's been squashed for it.
And he's on a YouTube channel with Xavier Woods and all them too. Up, down, down. So,
but they fired Tyler Breeze. So I mean,
True.
I don't know.
But then if you watched Being the Elite this week, he's now dead. So
Well. I mean, they could bring him back. They're probably writing it. They're just waiting to make sure that his contract is done with WWE, so that way they don't have any issues, and they could resurrect him from the dead. Or he could just change his name. I mean,
we'll see. It remains to be seen. A few other main headlines from the past week or so. They finally announced the new name of the New Year's Day pay-per-view of 2022. And they've gone for Day One. Not New Year's Revolution.
Yeah, I was like looking at that. I was just like, why is it Day One? Like the hell?
genuinely, I don't know whether we'll be doing predictions or reactions to it, but who on earth will be in the right state of mind, let alone, I don't know about you guys, what you guys would do for New Year, but like, we're going to be hungover. I don't want to watch a full story-laden, strong pay-per-view. Just give me a house show, you know?
But the thing is just like it's interesting their pay-per-views now for next year because look what happened. They're gonna have Money in the Bank on July 4th weekend. So I don't like. It seems like they're either planning to do pay-per-views around the holidays.
I think they're really just saying if you drink more, the stories get better.
That would make a lot of sense.
Well,
Simple.
I mean, SummerSlam they had that issue with their card system going down, and a lot of people pissed off. They can't buy beer,
Mm.
you know. Like, and they signed up for that venue again for next year. So I don't know if fans are wanting to go back there again. Whoever got the tickets before.
A lot of people I saw on Twitter said they were giving up the food for free because they couldn't.
Oh,
take
that's
payment.
unfortunate. That they lost a lot of money there.
Oh, it's concessions. I'm sure they could take it with all that budget cuts they've had in the last couple of weeks.
Right.
Hey-o!
Bray's salary alone.
I know. Another thing we learned during the SummerSlam broadcast is that we finally know when 2K22 is coming out, and it's in 2022. Oh, dearie
Well, at
me.
least they didn't rush it.
Then they are not
Well,
rushing it. They're taking
I
their
mean, come
time.
on now. They thought they had already a roster, and then they found out after they got released, they had to do some fix up.
Yeah, there's something poetic about that from like a nerd level of like if you're frustrated with all of those releases and you're also a gamer and then the gaming company can't release your game because your company is such a fuck up, like there's some sort of super sweet poetry there, and I can't even explain
Now
it.
I gotta create them again.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? You know, there's some people like they created like a lot of different wrestlers on those 2K games. Like I saw people putting in like what was it, like indie wrestlers, you know? So I don't know.
Mhm.
I mean, it could happen. So
Well, I think that at the end of the day, we've got obviously March 2022 as a date that obviously could tie into the build up to WrestleMania in Dallas. Do we know when AEW releasing their video game? I believe it's
no, it's 2022 as well. I think that's another thing too.
that's something to
Because
bear in mind. Reports have
because
come out
they
and said
yeah
that the
because they don't want to rush theirs either. So
exactly the reports this week have said that the relationship between 2K Games and WWE has become strained. So it could be the last 2K game that we could see. It feels like
however, I have to be on WWE's side because their last game was so atrocious with everybody's reviews hating on that last game.
what Battleground?
No,
Battlegrounds was fun.
I liked Battleground for what it was.
Yeah.
not that one. I meant the last 2K game. I meant the last 2K game.
The reason that one ended up being so bad, from what I gather, is the studio that produced it was brand new, had never made another wrestling game. And it's like, okay, you have X amount of time, which wasn't enough time. Now they've had quite a bit more time and a little bit more experience. So in theory, this one should be a little bit better.
Hopefully.
Hey,
Hopefully.
if it's worse, like I think that we can start our own separate YouTube channel just on the crazy glitches and shit we can find over there and capture. I mean, like there's a lot of good entertainment
my
value
God.
sitting there waiting for you.
Oh, we could just do the bloopers of the game.
I still feel guilty in dropping 90 quid on day one when it came out. So, that'll have to live with me.
And we all make mistakes. It's okay.
We all
Your heart was pure.
my heart was pure.
No, he felt something for that game. He was like, "This is going to be the game. This is going to be the game."
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, it just wasn't. In other news, we finally got a date for the next Saudi Arabia show, and it's October 20-something, and it's Crown Jewel again. A lot of people are saying that this will finally be King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. Could they really make it a crown thing of a crown jewel pay-per-view?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is absolute yes.
I think so. And plus, I mean, now that they have Brock back, I mean, that's the smart way to put Brock versus Roman there. And then the rematch for Lashley versus Goldberg. So,
I mean, they are taking something that everyone loves and combining it with something that is questionable to a lot of WWE fans, especially since now we haven't seen it in a while, how much the storylines are going to change out of nowhere for a couple of weeks. Remember how this goes? It's 3 weeks before and a week or two afterwards where everything's different for a little while because of the booking of whoever gets to book the shows over there. So no matter what happens in the next 6 weeks, something wacky is going to happen, and we're going to enter a time vortex. And then next thing you know, it'll be a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, and we'll be like, what happened? And and then we'll go back to some strange storyline, and it'll be time for Survivor Series, and something strange will happen there. And the cycle continues of WWE viewing.
I think that's a perfect summary of how every WWE functions between now and January.
Tis the season.
Tis the season to just wonder what on earth to just happen. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get Brock against Goldberg again at Saudi Arabia because, Undertaker's officially retired, or meant to be.
I don't want to see that match again.
Saudi
I don't want to see Goldberg in a WWE ring ever, I mean, after that atrocious event that happened in SummerSlam with him versus Lashley, thank God Lashley knew what he was able to do. Like, Jesus.
Versus Bogus.
That wasn't his worst performance, though.
Huh?
That wasn't Goldberg's worst performance.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we can thank his injury that it made him like.
we didn't talk about it in our review, but certainly, Lashley dominated him. Yeah, it was a stoppage, but he stopped Goldberg. He couldn't go on.
Yeah,
and
then I've never heard a crowd cheer so much for when Goldberg was getting beat up by a chair, and then his son getting. Oh my God! It's just
yeah.
I was can't with that match though. I just they're really doing this stupid match. I was expecting a quick match. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. That it was quick. It wasn't too taxing, and the right person won. At least we don't have Goldberg as the WWE champion.
The baldest battle for the championship in history.
Mm-hmm.
That is certainly for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Graves Stevenson being introduced as an Olympic gold medalist at SummerSlam. A lot of fingers are pointing towards him signing a WWE contract, especially with the tryouts in Vegas over the last week or two. Could we see another Olympic gold medalist make a WWE appearance?
Yeah, I didn't even realize he was 21. I didn't know he was that young.
He's younger than me.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just if they really want to sign him, they should just sign him now because he wants to be in WWE. He was very happy. He was taking all the pictures. He was able to beat Vince McMahon. The only thing now is just when he does his tryout, just to see how he does.
Right. I mean, I'm all about it. Be a perfect reason to bring back Kurt Angle as a valet. You got a lot of opportunity there.
No, you could use Shelton Benjamin or Chad Gable. Chad Gable has to change his name now because then it'll be because you got Gable, Stevenson, and then Chad Gable. Whatever.
I think it's fine. Leave him. We can have two Gables.
I'm sure Chad Gable will be ready, willing, and Gable to.
Wait a minute. I got it. Chad Gable, Gable Stevenson, being valeted by Sable.
Cage versus Cage in a cage match.
And not one reference to Shorty G. We'll take it. We'll
and there it goes.
Up there for another episode of The Chop Shop. My thanks, of course, to the Mean Queen herself, to Orlando, and unfortunately, your reigning and defending Octopus Trivia Champion of the World. Fuck you, man. When's the next one, Sarah? When's the next
2
one?
points.
Well, we got a couple other trivia games to get through over the next couple months.
Yeah.
Next month, we're doing the first ever Name That Tune with entrance theme music.
Huge.
Yeah. And my title shall be mine. It shall be mine. And we'll leave it at that. Please like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel and all our social media. And we'll look to hear to you next week on the Chop Shop.